Hi there, Barbara. I can see that you've joined us so far. You're the first one. We're not going to start to the top of the hour, but I just want to do a quick audio check. If you can hear me, I wouldn't mind if you clicked the raise your hand button. If you can do that for me and just verify that you can hear me, I would really appreciate that. Thanks. Okay.
We shouldn't be doing it, but I feel like
Hey, Brent, can you hear me all right? Hi there, Michael. We're just going to start in a couple minutes here. If you wouldn't mind, if you can hear me, will you click your raise hand button? That'll let me know that I'm coming through all right, and you can hear me fine. Hi, Dawn. Can you hear me all right? If you can click your raise hand button, I would appreciate an audio check. Wonderful. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. We're just going to wait another minute here, and then we'll get started at the top of the hour. Okay, cool. It looks like we're there. Okay, so everybody, welcome. My name is Spencer. I'm the Chief Product Officer here at Cronometer.com. And today we are going to be going through all of our gold features for our app. So I have a quick presentation to get through with you guys. What we're going to cover today is I have some brief introductions, some housekeeping to go through with you guys. Then we're just going to go through a screen-by-screen demonstration of our gold features, so you guys know everything that you have access to as part of your gold subscription. I'm even going to throw in a few other advanced features and little tricks you can do with the app to make your your tracking habit that much easier. And then as we go, if you guys have questions, feel free to pop open the Q&A panel and just write those questions at any time, and I will answer those as we go. So some housekeeping. We do not give personalized nutrition recommendations. We recommend that you go and chat with a healthcare professional in order to, get some personalized advice if that's what you need. We do have a professional directory of pros like nutritionists, doctors, etc., that use Cronometer in their practice. And so I can point you to that towards the end of the webinar. So if you do need some additional help, you know where to find it. So we won't deal with any feature requests in this webinar. We give you guys some space after the webinar. There's going to be a survey that you can fill out. Give us a little feedback on how we did. You can also tell us a little bit about what we can do to make the app even better for you. So you have some space there. If you see a question you like, you can always like that question and it'll pop to the top of the queue. And if you have any follow-up questions, if we don't get to everything that you want answered today, you can always email support@cronometer.com and they will take care of any issues that you might have. So we also post replays of these webinars up on our YouTube channel. So they usually come out at the start of next week, depending on how quickly I can get to them. But by the end of by the start of next week, you should see those replays up there in case you want to review these anything that we go over here. So what I want to start our conversation out today is, why use Cronometer to help achieve your health and fitness goals? So Cronometer, as you may have noticed by using it, is that we have the highest quality, most accurate data of any of the health trackers that are out there. And you'll notice that we have such a breadth of data as well. We really believe, we track over 80 micronutrients, and we really believe that understanding your micronutrition is the key to understanding how to achieve health through your diet. And we've really built the app around understanding that micronutrition information. And so we've not only built the basic bit of the app around it, but we've also built more detailed analysis tools that allow you to get real insight into what's happening with your nutrition over time. And then you can easily take that information and kind of correlate that to how you're feeling and how you're doing in maybe other areas of health. And so because we focus on this foundation of micronutrition, you're going to find that Cronometer is customizable to fit just about any style of eating, from vegan, vegetarian, all the way over to paleo, keto, and even carnivore. And so finally, we are secure. We're the most secure app out there. We use end-to-end encryption. We even have a two-factor authentication feature that you can turn on now to add some security to your account if you so choose. And we also believe that you, the user, owns your own data. So we never share your data with a third party without your express permission, if you're working with a pro. And at any time, you guys can go into our account, pull all your data out, and then delete your account and walk away, and we'll never have any of that data again. Now, we obviously don't prefer you do that option, but it is available to you if you want, because that's one of the principles that we have regarding security and data ownership. So I mentioned we have a professional version. That professional version is used by a huge amount of individual coaches, trainers, nutritionists, etc. But we're also used in a number of larger institutions for things like academic, clinical research, and even in hospitals for nutrition programs with patients. And we've been able to develop some of these relationships because of our accurate and high quality data. So these are just a few of the larger organizations that are using us today, and we're very fortunate to be in that position. So that is the end of my slideshow here. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in to the demonstration here. So we're going to be looking at both the mobile app and the web app. And I'm going to show you guys how to do things on both sides here. So, depending on what app you use more. I'm going to start with the web app. And basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to assume that you guys have some familiarity with the app already. Maybe you've been using it for a few days before you upgraded. And I'm going to kind of not necessarily go after the basics, and I'm just going to go through all of our gold features, and like I said, a few of those advanced features as well. Now, I will say this: if you guys are not sure about the basics and you want to get more information about how to use Cronometer, how to get the best data out of your food, and all the basic features that we offer, you can actually join us on Tuesdays of every week. We do a webinar on Tuesdays that that goes through all of that stuff, all the basic information on how to use Cronometer. I will post that link in the chat towards the end of our webinar, and then you can go join us whenever is convenient. And we do all kinds of different times. So this is about 4 p.m. Eastern Standard. We might switch it up, do it 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. So we hopefully you can find a time that accommodates you. So let's jump right in on the web app. So just to kind of briefly mention everything, you guys are familiar with all the different parts of the diary, food log, the nutrition information, and everything. So we're going to start from the top. I will get into some of the new actions that you're going to have available to you in a sec, but let's just start with the food log here. So right away, you can see that you have diary groups here now that you've upgraded to gold. And when you upgrade to gold, this should be enabled by default, so you should see it right away after you upgrade. And now what you have the ability to do is customize basically a daily template of what your day looks like, so using these categories. And so to customize that stuff, you go over to settings and go to display. And then underneath the general diary settings, there are the diary group settings. And so what you can do here is you can choose whether or not to show them at all. And then you can also basically come in here and customize each of these groups. So you can name them and you can enable or disable different groups here to show how many or as few as you want. So if you're eating maybe 5 meals a day, and you have a category for exercise, you can have that. Or if you just, basically any kind of structure you want to put on your day is possible with these categories. And if you have a device, you can even customize which group gets all the information that gets imported from that device. So that is diary groups. Now, the other thing you're going to notice on the food log here is that all of our data is now time-stamped. And again, this is another feature we turn on by default when you upgrade. So the next time you go to log anything, you're going to have the option to choose a timestamp for that data. So I'll show you what that looks like. If we add a food, I'll just go ahead and pick something at random. Down here, you can see you have time of day. So if I click on this, it'll just take whatever the device time currently is. So it's about 4:08 here. But if I were to log earlier in the day, it would show up then. Now, if I need to edit that, I can always do that. So I can say maybe it was 3:08 p.m. And you can set that up here. You can also choose which diary group this item is going to get logged to. And then when we add it, there it is with its timestamp. So I'm going to delete that. Now, the other thing you can do here with diary groups and timestamps is you can select items, all the items, by just single clicking or left clicking on a diary group, which is great to get a sense because it'll highlight all these items, and then that will show you all the nutrition for that particular set of items, or that group rather. And so if you want to find out how much nutrition is in, say, a meal like breakfast, I can click on breakfast and I'll get all that information down here. And when that stuff is unselected, like so, I just get everything that's in my food log. Now you have some new options here on your diary groups. If you right-click a diary group, you can see you can add a food to that diary group. You can sort that diary group by timestamp, and you can also edit the timestamp of each of the items in a group. So for example, you can see I have two different timestamps here, 4:31 and 5:49. So if I were to say add group timestamp, let's go with, 4:10 sounds good. I'll apply it. And then all of a sudden, my timestamp data has been updated for all the items in a group. So that's a great way to kind of just organize your time throughout the day without necessarily needing to remember exactly when you ate each item and edit it in line. But if you did want to edit it in line, you could always just click on the timestamp and you'll be able to edit that timestamp right there. So that is timestamps, great new feature. And so what's really cool about that feature is that you're going to get timestamps on all your biometrics as well. So you can see how your blood levels or anything like that, heart rate, anything like that, actually changes throughout the day. And so if you're logging that stuff regularly, or if you have a device that's importing it for you, you can see some pretty cool changes based on how you're eating. So the next thing that I want to show you guys is we're just going to scroll down to the nutrition targets section. So another feature that we enable automatically when you upgrade is this nutrition scores feature. And so what nutrition scores is we like to think, you know, put it this way. When I think about my diet every day, I don't always think in terms of, hey, did I get enough, zinc or vitamin B5 today? Most people don't think in terms of individual micronutrients. In fact, we think about those higher level concepts. Did I eat enough to recover from training today? Or maybe did I eat enough to support my immune system? Something very important these days. So we've actually taken nutrients, all the micronutrients that we track, and we've grouped them according to function in the body. And so you can see here how I am doing, or how this account is doing, on various different functions in the body that numerous nutrients affect. So for example, if I click on this immune support gauge, you can see a number of different nutrients that contribute to that bodily function and how I am doing in terms of hitting the targets for the day for that nutrient or for that bodily function. And so it's a great way to get a nice holistic high-level view of your nutrition for the day. And you can even customize these gauges depending on your interests. So for example, we have, these are coming up, I don't believe they're out yet, but we have vegan and keto critical nutrients. So if you're running a vegan diet, there are some pretty common nutrient deficiencies that can develop if you're not careful. And so we're going to be able to help you track your vegan critical nutrients on these gauges. So you can customize that view by going to settings. We're going to go back to that display tab. We're going to scroll down just below diary groups, and you're going to see nutrition scores. And you can click on any one of these. You can see the ones that are available. You can choose the ones you want to display. And they will appear right here. Okay. Now, another update to this view is at the very, very bottom of the page. So what you're going to see here is a set of nutrient balances. And what those do, they basically tell you how you're doing in terms of some common nutrient ratios that are important to everyday health. So the most common and well-known one that I can think of is the omega-3 to 6 one. And so you can see how in balance you are with those two particular nutrients. And so when you see that this is off, you can always look up to the individual nutrients and see what you need to do in order to balance those things out. So clearly, for this account, I haven't even met the minimums yet. So naturally, I would be out of balance. But that's another feature that gets enabled by default when you upgrade to gold. So next, we're going to talk about let's talk about add biometrics. So some of you may have noticed you can add different biometrics out of the box with our software, and you can, maybe it's blood glucose, maybe it's blood pressure, heart rate, weight, anything kind of that's pretty standard. But excuse me, with a gold account, you can actually create custom biometrics. So if there's anything that you want to track, any piece of data that you want to track about yourself, you can essentially create that here and then start logging it every day. And what's great about this is that as you start logging that stuff every day, you're going to be able to correlate that stuff with all the other nutritional data that we have in the system. And that gets really cool when we get to our charts features. You can see and build custom graphs out of all the data that you generate. Now, what you can do here with regard to add custom biometric, click on this. You're going to just create a name for that biometric, a unit, and then you can input a value and log it right to your diary. Then it will show up in this list. Oops, let's see. It will show up in this list. You can see I've typed in some funny names for illustration purposes, but it'll show up at the bottom of this list here, and you can then log it, any day, anytime. Now, some common uses for this feature are going to be things like, maybe you are measuring your symptoms, before and after a meal, or maybe you're monitoring a pain scale or something like that. You can always, use it for different purposes. It's really open. It's very easy to use. So next, we have a new addition to our Add Note feature. So one of the things that you're going to be able to do with your Add Note feature that you couldn't do before on a free account is you can now add photos to a note. So if I were to so there's a little camera icon here. If I click on this, I now am able to add a photo. And so now my photo will appear in the notes on this day, and it will kind of stay with, so you can always refer back to it each, on the diary. And, whether so you can put up so maybe take a picture of your food that you ate today, or you can, put up an inspiring meme. Plenty of options there to capture some extra information with your notes feature. So you guys may have caught this as I was scrolling down, but you can see here that we actually have a fasting tracking feature. So fasting tracking, somebody was asking about this in yesterday's webinar. I'm not sure if you're here today, but you can track your fasts once you have upgraded to gold. So I'll show you how to do this specifically a little bit later. But when you have enabled fasting tracking, you can see the widget. It'll appear here on your diary view. And so if you're fasting, I'm not currently fasting, I have one coming up, you'll see whatever the state of your fast is. You can manage your fast from here, and we'll get into a little more detail of what that looks like in a minute. Let's see, anything else I'm forgetting? I believe, oh yeah, there are a few others. So another thing you can do is we have a feature. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight my lunch here. So now if I right click on items that I've highlighted, we're going to have, let's see, we are going to have a create recipe from selected items option. This is a convenience feature for you gold users. Basically what you can do now is, let's say you had a great breakfast, you're starting a new program and you just nailed it one day, and you say, you know what, I'm going to eat this breakfast again in the future for sure. Well, what you can do is you can highlight all of those items and create a recipe from those highlighted items, and then save it as a meal. So like best breakfast or something like that. And then in the future, you don't even have to, all you have to do is log that single item to get all the nutrition from the items in that meal, instead of having to search out every single one individually. And this is going to feed into a really cool trick I'm going to show you with our recipe editor that'll allow you to build daily meal plans to basically plan out your eating really easily. So let's see what we got here. So now I think I've covered everything. I'm just looking here. Oh, you can sort all your items by timestamp on a diary page basis. Let's see what that looks like. Yep, you can see it. They all jumped around. You can see that they're ordered by within a group. So something at 5 a.m. down here won't jump all the way up to the top of the list. It'll stay within its group. I believe that's everything on this page. Oh no, I did forget something. One of my favorite features. Down here, we have in our nutrient target setting, we have our suggest food feature. So this feature is great. It's a great planning tool, and I love to show it to everybody. So basically what it does is, you can see on this diary here, I don't have all of my nutrition filled out. I have plenty of nutrients that I haven't hit the target for, and my macros, plenty of space in my macros. Well, what that suggest food button does, just click it here, what it does is it looks at all of the things that I have eaten so far today, and my micronutrition, my macronutrition. It says, okay, here are the foods that will help you best get to all your nutrition targets for the remainder of the day. And so this is a keto oriented account, so it's a very fat heavy account. you can see that right away I'm getting some suggestions that would fit with getting a lot of my calories from fat. So you can see a number of different suggestions here, and you're going to see what the macro breakdown is, what the you can see there. I'll just zoom in. You can see what percentage of the total nutritional targets that a serving of this item would fill, and you can see what the main uh, vitamins and minerals they'd be contributing as well. So so what you can do then is you can click Add to Diary to add that item to your diary in the amount that's listed here. You can like a food to basically get it as a recommendation in the future, so we'll know that'll be on your recommended list. You can dislike a food to get it off that list, and you're not going to want to see it again. Or if you just want to cycle through a bunch of different suggestions and see what we offer, you can, let's see, you can click X and it will just cycle through. We'll show you about 5 at a time. You'll just cycle through a whole bunch of different options there. And if you have any specific dietary restrictions, you can go over here to all foods and choose vegetarian only options or vegan only options. We have a bunch of foods in our database that are tagged that will show up based on your dietary restrictions. In addition, you can also exclude some common allergens like seafood, nuts, and dairy, and you can exclude supplements or your own custom recipes from these suggestions here. So the way I like to use this, oftentimes, let's say it's dinner time, I hit this, get some suggestions. I may not have tofu with curry sauce in my fridge, right? But what this does allow me to do is I can say I want to plan my diet out for the next week or two. I know I have to do some grocery shopping, and I know I'm going to be eating maybe some foods on a particular day. I can use this suggestion engine to fill in all the gaps of my daily nutrition and basically figure out what I have to go shopping for over the course of a week. So this is a great tool to use for a number of different purposes, and it's a really cool feature that you guys now have access to as Gold users. So that is everything that you're going to find, I think, in terms of Gold features on our diary page. We have one question here, Andrea. Let's see, under the highlighted targets, I show circles for 8 vitamins. I have only selected 6, but all 8 are filled. 2 of the 8 are filled with vitamin B12. Oh yeah, of course. Let's take a quick look. So again, back down here, this is what the area you're referring to, highlighted nutrient targets, or highlighted nutrients. So what you can do here is you go to your settings tab under display, and then you just go right below nutrition scores, and you're going to have your highlighted nutrient targets. So if you want some but not all, what you can do is, let's see, so I don't know if we have a none option here. No, it doesn't look like we have a none option. So you will have to choose something, but you can choose from any one of our nutrients that we track, and changing it up here will just customize the view for what you are looking for. And so, yeah, if you want to remove the duplicate B12, it's just a simple matter of changing one of those two. Hope that helps. So now, before we move on to our next set of features, I want to take some time to show you guys how to get to all the things I just showed you on our mobile app. So on our mobile app, you can see you have your groups here. You can actually collapse those groups by tapping on the arrow, and you can, open and close them and see what's in there. Just easy way to create some space on your screen there. Another thing you can do with your diary groups is you can swipe to the right on them to get an additional options menu. And this is going to function a lot like what you saw me do before when I highlighted those items by clicking the group heading. I tap that, and I'm going to get a set of options, basically the same ones that I showed you before. You can add that group timestamp. You can create a recipe from that group. You can copy, paste, or show the nutrition information for those selected items. Another thing you'll notice that there's this green plus button here next to each of those groups. And so what you can do there, hit plus, that'll take you right to the food search screen. And now you can add items directly to that group. So you can see here now all those items are now added. And you'll also notice you can see the timestamp is here as well. So if I wanted to edit that, I could tap on the item, and you're going to see the ability to add or edit the timestamp right there. So just tap that, and get my handy sliders, and I could edit it if I wanted to. Let's see what else is on here. Then we have, oh, right. And so if you tap on any of these, let's say the top widget up here. So if I tap on that, I'm going to see a more detailed view of each of the items in that top widget. But if I tap on daily report, I'm going to see all of my nutrition information, just like we see on the bottom of the web app here, right? So if I scroll down to the very, very bottom, we're going to see all those balances that I mentioned earlier, right? Now, we do not have on the mobile app yet. It's coming, I think, in the next couple weeks. We don't have nutrition scores on the mobile app yet. It is coming. Oh, interesting. Two of the targets. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second, Andrea. Yeah, so the nutrition scores are not yet on the mobile app, but like I said, that'll be coming in just a couple weeks. Now, on the plus button menu here, you can tap that, and you're going to have on the Add Biometric. We don't have custom biometrics yet on the mobile app, but that is coming, I think, in just a few days or a week or two, I think. I know it's released. We just have to turn the feature on for everyone. We also have the ability to add a photo to your notes. So when you do that, you'll be able to take a picture right then and there on your phone, or you can use one of your saved files on your camera. Also, you can get to suggest foods. So you can see one item at a time. You can swipe through. We'll give you those 5 that I showed you earlier. You can tap X on those things to kind of cycle through. You can like, dislike, and just add the item to the diary if you tap on it. There that is. So that is how you get to, I think that covers just about all the gold features. Oh, and if you have fasting turned on, you'll get a little handy fasting widget up top here. Okay. Now, let's see, Andrea. That didn't fix the problem. So when you look at the list of options of, of all vitamins, oh, it's not, that's 2 of the targets. So that actually does sound like a bug, Andrea. Why don't you email support@cronometer.com? They should be able to fix that up for you. That's a little strange that that is happening. Because yeah, generally speaking, you should be able to get that. That should work just fine. So anyway, cool. All right, so Jim, I scanned a barcode for an item, yet it brought up something totally different. Is there a way to have that reviewed or corrected? Yes, there is. So if you scan the item, so I'm just going to show you. So basically what will happen is, this is probably the screen that came up. It was the wrong item, yeah? So there's going to be an option up here. There's a 3-dot menu. You want to tap that. And what's going to happen is this little menu will pop up here, and you can report the issue. And that will give you some space to describe the issue. And you can also take pictures of the nutrition label and the package, and we should get all that data and be able to correct anything that might go on. So it might be that there's maybe an overlap in the barcode somewhere. It's unclear to me, but you can report the item in the way that I just described. You can also email support on that issue as well. And so we should be able to handle it either way. So yeah, please give that a shot. Oh, cool. All right. Thanks, Jim. All right. So Andrea, I hope that will answer your question. All right, so let me see. How do I edit? So this is from Dawn. How do I edit the original data I put in when I joined Cronometer? Oh yeah, no problem. So on the web app, you just go to your settings. We'll go to profile. So I'm assuming you're talking about your birthday or your current weight or your height or your age or any of those things. You just go to settings, profile, and you can edit those things there. likewise, in the mobile app, you just tap the settings button, and you're going to be able to edit those things in the profile section. That should get you to where you want to go there, Dawn. So a scanned barcode is not found, but searching on the exact item name will find it in the database. So Michael, if that's the case, that just means that we haven't associated that barcode with that item in our system. So it may be that that's a mistake. You could use the same thing that I described earlier, the report issue, to kind of let our team know that there's a problem with that particular barcode. So it just means we don't have a barcode associated with that item. Without knowing more details, I may not be able to go further than that. But you can feel free to email support in order to let them know, or like I said, just use the report feature and it should work. Excuse me. So let's see, where are we at? So we've just gone through the diary page. So the next spot I want to take you guys, actually, I want to take a little detour here. I want to show you guys an advanced feature that is really useful for planning your day and your week, or however long you'd like to plan your diet out. So you can go to the Foods tab here. And I'm going to assume that you guys are familiar with our recipe editor. You may have created a few different recipes. And just to kind of quickly review that, I'm just going to open up a highlighted or a existing recipe. You know, you can put in your title, your all the tags, categories, preparation instructions here in the notes, and you'll add your ingredients just like you're adding food to any other, you know, to your diary. So you can see what that looks like. Now, once you have that recipe created, and like we demonstrated earlier, you can actually create recipes by highlighting ingredients in your diary. What we can do is actually take other recipes, or take recipes and create meals containing other recipes. So what do I mean by that? It sounds a little confusing. So if I click on dinner 1 here, you'll see an ingredient list of Mediterranean couscous, avocado fritters, and sauteed chicken with spinach. All 3 of those things are custom recipes that I've created previously, right? And now I'm calling this entire recipe dinner 1, right? I can now, so now I have a dinner, right, that I might just want to log anytime. But what I can take that a step further, and after creating a bunch of meals, say a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner, daily supplements, whatever else is appropriate to your diet, you can actually create an entire daily meal plan by creating a new recipe, calling it meal plan day 1, or however you want to name it, and then adding those meals into that recipe as ingredients. And so what this means is that you're going to be able to log an entire day's worth of eating with just a single or just a couple of clicks, right? You only need to log 1 item to your diary. So what that looks like in practice is, if we go to a day in the future, I'm going to go ahead and add food. Let me search out my meal plan. So let's go with meal plan day 6 here. I will add that to my diary. Now you can see right away all of my nutrition information is filled out. I have my meal plan here. It's not totally clear what I'm eating though. So if I right click on this item, I'm going to see an option called Explode Recipe. So if I click on Explode Recipe, that's going to break out a recipe into its individual ingredients. So now I have my breakfast. I'll just drag and drop things to where they need to go. Maybe that's lunch. Yeah, that must be lunch. My dinner, my snacks, my daily supplements. I'll just throw down there. So now I have my meals in the right place, and I'll explode those out. That's just a custom recipe. I'll leave that as is. And there we go. So now in less than a minute, I have my whole day's worth of food planned. Now, if I am going through the day and I need to make some adjustments, maybe I only ate 2 of those, you can make any adjustments that you need. And it's a great way to kind of make a plan, stick to it, and it's a super handy way. I highly recommend that if you're really trying to stick to a program, you use our meal planning feature so that you can just plan it out and basically save tons of time and effort in logging your food day to day. So imagine having to search out each one of these individual items every single day. It's a lot more time. So you can do the same thing on your mobile app just by going to the Foods tab. You can create the recipes, so you can see the recipe list that I have here. Just tap that arrow at the top there to expand and contract. So you can create a recipe. You have access to the same feature that you do on the mobile app or on the web app. Yeah, so now we're going to go talk about the Trends tab. This is the first of several different data analysis tools that you guys now have much greater access to as Gold subscribers. So what you're going to see here is the two charts that you get with your free account, which is great. No worries there. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into Manage Charts here. And you're going to be able to see all the different built-in charts that you get with your Gold subscription. So you can enable those or disable those as however you want. And you can learn more about those by just clicking on the icons or our Learn More icon up here. Down below, this is where I really think this feature shines, is you have the ability to build custom charts out of any data that's in our system. So you could say, I'll just create one for you. You can create two different axes, and then maybe I want to graph a biometric against a nutrient. Maybe I can see how my weight, maybe I want to see my weight versus the amount of potassium that I'm taking in, or any combination of two items in our database. Is super handy for understanding how things are changing together. So I've already created a few of these, and we'll see what those look like in just a second. So just jumping back to the charts. Yeah, you have a bunch of different options here. So one thing that I will point out just before moving on to some of the other charts is on our biometric chart, which is part of the free account. But if you're creating custom biometrics, you can graph those biometrics here as well. So you can see all of them show up down at the bottom of my, at the dropdown. So now what you can do is, if you are tracking, say, a pain scale, you can see how those things are fluctuating throughout the day or over longer periods of time. So one of the new charts that you'll get is our individual nutrient chart. You can plot a nutritional average over time, and you can see that green zone there is the target range that you want to be in. So you can see when you're hitting that and when you're not. You can graph any of the nutrition scores that I described earlier and see how well you're tracking over time with any of those, any of the functions that those groups of nutrients fulfill. The glucose ketone index, that's a specialized chart for the keto diet. And then here are some of the custom charts that I've built. And you can see how easy it would be to visualize data over time on any particular pair of variables that you want to look at. So let me see. So Jim, protein values. After more than 3 months using Cronometer, I never have been able to see much values shown. Is there a way to check that? Is that something I can help with? So protein values, Jim, I'm not sure I'm following you on exactly what you want to see, but we do track tons of information on protein, so I'll just give you a quick idea of how to find that stuff. So if you scroll down to the bottom here, we should be showing protein and all your amino acids that make up the various, all the mixes of protein that you'll be eating in your diet. I'm not sure if that's what you mean by protein values. So if you want to be a little more descriptive and let me know what exactly you mean, I'd be happy to help. And if I'm not able to do that here, we can talk about it more offline if you email support@cronometer.com. Are you talking about the actual food item in like the food search? If that's the case, I see. So when you log items to your diary up here, you're saying that they're not filling out these numbers, right? So these just remain empty. Gotcha. Okay. So without knowing the items that you're logging, it would be tough for me to comment on what might be going wrong. So feel free to post something in the chat, like one of those items that you're not seeing any protein data on. Maybe we can figure that out. Otherwise, I can point you to support, and they can figure out whether or not there's an issue with some of the things you're logging, or if there's an issue with the account. Might be a bug, you never know. So feel free to post some items that you want me to check out. Maybe that would help me figure out what's going on. So where was I? Yeah, back on the charts tab. So you can view the charts on your mobile app as well. So you can see how they look here. Now they're a little tight on the mobile app, but what's really cool is if I tap a chart, I'll get a more full screen view, and I can even tilt it to the side and get a very kind of nice landscape view of the chart. And you can see how things are changing over time pretty easily on mobile as well. And all the same options that you have for customizing your charts are available on the mobile app. Let's see. So now we want to take a look at the nutrition report. So the nutrition report is going to look a lot like the diary screen, the bottom part of the diary screen, but it's showing you those longer term nutritional averages. Now, what you can do, let's see. I'm just going to clear out this queue in case any other questions come in. So what you can do here is you're actually going to get the option to create a whole bunch of different time frames. You're going to be able to access longer time frames for this particular report and create custom time frames as well. The next feature that we have here, this is only on our web app. It's called print report. It's essentially a report generator that allows you to create oh, interesting. Okay. Sounds good, Jim. Jim, can you tell me the exact name of one of the items that you've logged? So for example, on diary, I have half and half, right? Or I have beefsteak flank, no visible fat eaten. If you can tell me like the name of an item that is showing up that's contributing to protein, but you're still not getting any data on any of those other amino acids, let me know what that is, and maybe that'll help me. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna go through this, the rest of these features here, and we'll take a minute to take a look at that thing. All right, so setting, foods, lost one place. Oh yeah, so print report. Basically what this does is it allows you to build a report that consists of any data in our system. So this is a great way to basically create a PDF that you can print out, share with your doctor, or just keep a record for yourself. So you can select the time frame here, and you can essentially turn on a whole bunch of different options. And I'm just going to go ahead and generate a report so you can see what it looks like, and then we can go through what is actually going to show up there. So you get a little bit of information about you, basically based on your details that you've entered. You're going to get the nutrition report for the selected time frame. So in this case, it was the last 7 days or so. And then you're going to get all the charts that you enable. So you can customize, you can get any chart that you want over that item or over that time frame. And then you can get the individual food logs and daily nutrition totals for each day in the time frame that you selected. So anyway, so you can build a very comprehensive report that you can share with any healthcare practitioner that can be super useful for helping them understanding what's going on with your diet. And then finally, we have snapshots. This is another web-only feature. You can upload any kind of image file here. Basically, we built this for, say, progress photos. Maybe kind of seeing your visual progress as you maybe lose some weight or get through a program. But it can really be used for anything. So it's just another spot where you can kind of keep data, visual data that you want to track. So now let's see if I'm forgetting anything. Let's take a look at settings. Yeah, so just to mention, oh yeah, fasting, here we go. So I described earlier, you can set up fasting tracking, And the way you would do it is by going to your settings tab and going to fasting. You would turn on the fasting switch here, and then you're going to be able to schedule fasts, and you can set them up to repeat. You can set them for as long or as short as you want, and we'll keep a fasting history here so that, and actually I'll show you back on the charts, you can actually visualize a fasting period on the chart itself. So if I click on schedule a new fast, you'll see here I can set a name, I can set a duration, excuse me, and I can also set a repeat interval as well. So if I want to do an intermittent fast every day, I can do that. If I want to do something every week, every couple weeks, everything's possible. You can also set the start date and time and the end date and time, and that'll affect, when the widget will kick off. You can even get notifications, although I don't think we've released that yet. You can get notifications on your mobile device on, when your fast is starting or when it's ending and that kind of thing. So what that looks like on the charts, this is really cool. So I have a very long history on this account. And so if I were to say, show fast periods on the charts, you just get to that by clicking on that three-dot menu. You can see those darkened areas are the periods when I was fasting. And so again, you can visualize how making those types of changes to your diet affects you over the long term. Super handy. So I'll just turn that off for now. Another setting, actually, and just to kind of throw this out there, this isn't necessarily a gold feature, but if you have a device and you want to link it, you go to settings, devices. That is a great, we support a whole bunch of different devices, and if you have one, it just makes tracking a lot easier. But the other gold feature that I want to point out here is the sharing tab, is under the sharing tab. So you can actually invite friends to Cronometer. Now, this has to be someone who has a Cronometer account, but what it allows you to do is you send them a request, they accept, and now you guys are able to share all of your custom recipes and foods with each other. So this is a great way for individuals or families to basically stay on the same page with the food they're logging, not have to recreate recipes between accounts, and just have some accountability between friends. And it's a great way to share recipes too, obviously, if you experiment in the kitchen. And so that's another one of our gold features that you're going to get with our gold subscription. So I think I've covered just about everything. And just to kind of put a pin in some of the other features on the mobile app, you can see here fasting is under targets. You can go in here and set up a fast. Just like I showed you on the web. You're also going to have your devices, connect devices. You can also connect to Apple. Well, if you're on Google Fit or Apple Health, you can connect here. And then sharing as well, you can use the friends feature to invite people. And what's really cool about the friends feature is that you only need one gold account. So if you have a gold account, friends on the free app, you have a bunch of recipes you want to share with them, you can invite him and he will get all your recipes without necessarily having to subscribe. I probably shouldn't have shared that, but that's okay. So I think that's everything. So Jim, I want to get to your question here. I'm actually going to go ahead and look that item up. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to post them. I'll stick around till everything's answered. Let's see. I want to look at. So we're going to answer this question here. QT Kitchen Peanut Butter Cookie. Let's see if that comes up. QT Kitchen. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, Jim. So check this out. So Jim, you'll notice that we have a barcode icon next to this particular food, QT Kitchen. I'm assuming it's true for the peanut butter cookie, even though I couldn't find it. So if I click on breakfast pizza, you'll notice that I only have 14 listed nutrients for this item. That's probably because this is a store-bought item, has a barcode, and unfortunately, because it's coming from a food manufacturer, the food manufacturer is not legally obligated to provide much nutrition information other than what's on the label, which honestly isn't much when you think about how many micronutrients are probably in the food. And so because that's the case, and because we can't necessarily shake them down for all the data that they have, we can only display what we have. And so actually, and I'll show you how you can inspect this even further. So if I click on 14 listed nutrients, it's actually a link. It's going to take you to the food page for that item. And we can actually look at the data that we have there. And so if we go down to protein, you can see that pizza it has 7 grams of protein, but we actually don't know what the individual amino acid breakdown is for that protein, which sucks because, like I said, the food manufacturers are not obligated to give us that information. So we do our best to get as much data as possible for those. Yeah, it does suck, right? We do our best to source that material that information as much as possible. But unfortunately, with the amount of new food products that come out every day, the labs generally can't keep up. So, yeah, I wish I had a better answer for you, but there are certain limitations that that nobody's really solved for yet. But hopefully, you're still getting enough information to kind of make better decisions about your diet, I hope. But in the meantime, we will be working on getting better data for food items like that. Okay, guys, we are just about out of time. So we have about five, maybe 10 more minutes. So if there are any other questions, yeah, seriously. Just feel free to pop them in the question and answer panel, and I will answer them. And I have 2 of my coworkers with me here, Brendan, Karen. Did I forget anything? Any gold features? There's so many that I barely get through one of these without forgetting something. So I don't know if you guys can think of anything that I might have forgotten.
No, I think that's it.
Sweet. Thanks, Brendan. So anyway, so now I guess we are just about, we still have 5 minutes left. I'm not seeing any questions coming in, so I will end it here. And thank you guys so much for joining me. There will be a quick survey after this. And if you have any further questions, if you didn't get to something that you're interested in, or if you have any bugs that you want to report to us, feel free to email support@cronometer.com. And yeah, if you have any other questions or want to join us in future webinars, just let them know. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.